Welcome to At the Wicket. Welcome to another edition of At the Wicket. Let me check my fingernails. I just realized I am not a Pakistan or US fan, but this was a nail biting encounter. The the US managed to pull off an upset. I would say the first upset of the tournament against Pakistan, winning in that super over. Exciting contest, nail biting contest. I'm joined here with Reza Abazali and Lenroy White. Greetings, guys.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us on here.
Good night, man. Good night to everyone.
I see you guys wearing your colors, so I suspect that your fingernails are well intact.
Well, absolutely. It was a cracker of a game today between the US and Pakistan. One of the best game you will see in the tournament, and it was just nothing short of excitement. And it just goes to show that this is T20 World Cup. It doesn't matter what team you are, what nation you are. You need to come out and display cricket at the given day, at the given moment. And US came out and they show that they deserve to be on this big stage. And nothing short of a clinical performance from the US team.
Were you more disappointed, Reza, in Pakistan, or impressed with the US? I think there's only one answer, but let me hear you.
No, not really, man. I agree with Lenroy there. If this is World Cup, man, and on the day, not on necessarily on reputation, Cavalli, on the day of a T20 match, anything can give or anything can take.
In the electrifying opener of the
After that wonderful USA's, it's their debut, isn't it? And after that wonderful defeat over Canada, they would have been extremely confident.
T20 World Cup.
But against a Pakistan team, and in previous shows all over, when we talk about the frailty of the Pakistanis in terms of their mind and approach, it kind of blew apart today. And I suspected that after the match was tied, I didn't really give them. I gave them a slim chance of taking this game. And credit to the USA, they were courageous, they were bold. They play the game, ball by ball, and you have to give credit to the captain. I think what's his name here, Patel. He did a fantastic job, mobilizing his team and his resources.
Yeah, it was an exciting game, and as you said, when it gets down to the super over, you'd expect that maybe the more experienced team would come out on top. But what I can say. And something that we would have picked up before the tournament, we previewed it, we predicted it, right? Because we said that, this is a fragile Pakistan team, a lot of infractions in the team, and you're there for the taking, and they would have wounds that needs to be ripped open by the US team. And they did that today, and we saw that the experience didn't come to the fore. What we saw was a unit. Sometimes the sum of the parts can be greater than the whole, and we see that with the US. But I think for the Pakistanis, this was just a group of individuals, brilliant names, brilliant players, but these were individuals, and they did not play as a unit, and it was evident. And we saw a US team with less name, maybe lesser quality. Yeah, the stats would tell us that, but they were a unit, and it showed today, Lenny, that they were a unit.
I would look at it as a different perspective in terms of US. They played really brilliant cricket. I wouldn't look at it in the fact with the direction that you're going, but I'm looking at the direction that US played some tremendous cricket. They started off, it was equal at the start of the game, but you got to understand when the US team got a couple of wickets, it put Pakistan under a bit of pressure. And for them to rebound from losing two quick wickets, they had to sort of build sort of partnership here and there, and they just didn't get the momentum going. And the US team just kept on applying the pressure. And and that's what you want in T20 cricket. You just don't want this and that, but they play as a unit and as a team, and they executed the plan, and they kept applying the pressure, and that's really good to see from a team perspective.
Yeah, in Jamaica we would say pressure bust pipe, and we saw that today, where, as you said, that pressure was applied by the US team, and it was just too much for Pakistan. we could see that with Baba Azam. I would be very critical of his captaincy today, because I think that pressure was just telling for them. Whereas, do you think there was more that Baba Azam could do, the captain, because he was okay with the bat, and we'll discuss that a little bit further. But
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
captain's side,
Just before I come to Babar, you're right on that sense what Lenroy was saying. Pakistan were 3 for 26 in 4.4 overs before that partnership between Babar and Shadab Khan. But as Lenroy was saying, they were under pressure from this time wickets started to fall. And that pressure was sustained by Ken Jigi. I'm watching here. And wickets were shared with Netravalkar. And they take 3, 2, 5, 6, 7 wickets. And the captain Patel, as I mentioned on the top, he was tactically smarter than Babar Azam. And if I may just go above, a bit later, Babar was, anything like when things do not go according to plan for Pakistan, and I hope Pakistanis are not going to get vexed with me with saying this. He just gets a bit too emotional, and
yes, he did.
and that rubs off on perhaps the psyche of the other Pakistani players. I'm not saying he's not a good captain, but sometimes in the when pressure, as you mentioned, Cavalli, bust pipe or start a bust pipe, you have to maintain composure. And when you start to see the cracks in your enemy, you really go for the shotgun and you go for the kill. And Patel just took advantage of that crack in Babar's leadership, if I may say so.
Yeah. If we should look at maybe two of the most successful captains in the IPL, Rohit Sharma and the greatest captain I think there is in the IPL, MS Dhoni, they are calm under pressure, and all the emotion that came out of Baba Azam. And remember, it is fine to have emotion and to be an
Oh, sure.
emotional captain, but this emotional captaincy must come if the unit would run through a wall for you. This is a
And
fragile team.
not to interrupt you, but this is
Yeah.
where a team unit, as a team, as a unit, this is where senior players in the team need to come together, get a plan. Hey, plan A is not working. Let's go to plan B. And you don't see that sort of leadership quality from the senior players. As it is for the United States team, they have a bunch of young, talented players that are hungry for success, and they're rallying behind each other. And that's what you want to see. And I feel like that's where the advantage was with the United States team today. The Pakistan team failing in that sense and in that dynamic as a team unit.
Yeah, and as you talk about senior players, Lenny, the senior players in the team are the ones who are not getting on as well. Because look, Shaheen Shafridi, Mohamed Rizwan, Baba Azam, this has been a musical chair for captaincy in the past few months. I'm saying less than 12 months going into a World Cup, you're playing musical chairs. And as a result, there are so many infractions in the team. This was bound to happen. We predicted it, and it did happen. We saw good performances in parts, as I said, because Baba Azam, I think he did okay with holding the innings together after losing those two early wickets.
Yes. Yeah.
But at the same time, let's compare. Monank Patel's 50 came off 38 deliveries. Baba Azam, 44, came off 43 deliveries. No, I understand the context of the game, and Baba Azam had to stabilize the innings, but he's a more technical batter than Monank Patel. He could have maybe dealt with the situation a little bit better. So even in that is an issue. But Shadab Khan and Shaheen Shafridi did well in getting some runs, but as a unit, we're not seeing that sort of a play from Pakistan, and it's just a shame because hey, I don't be fooled. You might just see Sunday they turn up against India, and it's a whole different team. This team is like that, hot and cold. So I don't know
Yeah.
what we expect.
When you say hot and cold, you look back at the history, you look at Pakistan team over the last 4, 5, 6 years. They have been somewhat very inconsistent, and very inconsistent. They win a couple of games, they lose a couple of games, but it's a different band for US. They got nothing to lose, and they're going out there. They're playing absolutely a different brand of cricket. teams are expecting them to come up and showcase the quality and the class that they're possessing in the World Cup. And you can't take the US team for granted, and they're really demolishing team and showing what they're made of, and they got really nothing but quality in their team.
Yes, quite so, Lenny. You know what was not remarkable. What I noted is a comment. I think you did an interview with Aaron Jones, I think, and Jones, who played a brilliant 94 and 40 balls, I believe, in the first game against Canada. Jones was cool. He just saying he's not perturbed by the name of the bowler. Just I mean, he plays every ball in its merit, and that, I believe, Jones' confidence as well as the other, as you said, Lenny, they have nothing to lose. But I think a man like Jones coming out, is he born in America of Bajan parentage, I believe?
Bajan, he's
Yes,
Bajan.
yes, he is exuding a confidence, Cavalli, that is rubbing off on the other players. He's supremely confident. I mean, today he hit 36 in 26 balls, which again was a winning partnership with he was with Kumar in the end.
Nitish Kumar.
Yeah,
No.
nothing to lose. And the US now, I think they're in pole position this is Group A, India, Pakistan, Canada, Ireland, and the USA.
Yeah,
And
they're in pole
Lenny,
position.
you'll be happy to hear. I would think that the USA are now going to be one of the teams. They just have to win a final match that will advance from Group A. I mean,
Yeah, and
you would agree with that.
Absolutely agree with that. When you look at when you speak about confidence in Aaron Jones, I've played with him a few times, and I've seen him played a few times. Very, very positive individual when it comes on to cricket leadership, whatsoever it is. And he got people like Stephen Taylor as well, very cool, calm, collective, and vibrant. And once you got people like those to lift you up when you're having a bad patch, the 5 or 6 over, you got those individuals in the team to bring you up. You have a great team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we look at that exclusive interview we did with Aaron Jones, was it yesterday? We did that exclusive interview with him, and he was so confident. And one of the things that I think is, it's not just his confidence rubbing off on the team, whereas I would describe it as the US team is so confident that it gives him that sort of freedom
to play.
Freedom of mind as well, to go out there and express himself. It reminds me so much of, MS Dhoni taking some players that aren't at their best to CSK, and they automatically become brilliant players because they know their role. They are confident that the team management backs them, the captain backs them, and they're just going out there to do well. So I think the entire unit is so confident, because without that confidence, imagine looking at that sort of final over. That composure in the final over, to put Amir under such pressure to bowl so poorly.
With that said, there, you gotta give credit to the coaching team and coaching staff as well, the management team, because if they have that confidence to go out there and display by themselves, it has to be coming from upper management, and that's really good to see. And you want that sort of management skill, coach, whosoever it is. You want to feel free to go out and express yourself on the cricket field, and I feel like they are able to express themselves, and they're bearing results, and that's really good to see. So you got to give credit to the US management as well, coaching staff.
Yeah. Shout out to Stuart Law, or as we would say in Jamaica, big up Stuart Law for all the work that he has.
And not to jump into that, but there was a lot of criticism today in terms of the who should be the opening batsman for the Super Over, and I was thinking to myself, Aaron Jones has to be there for himself, has to be at the top of it. Well, who's going to be the next one? I think it was a great selection.
Yeah, as you mentioned that, when you look at the name of a Corey Anderson in the team, people would say, oh, go for that experience. But they looked at form and went with form, and it paid off well for them. And it really put the Pakistan team under pressure, because they looked at what these guys were able to do in regulation play, and it just really threw them off. Maybe if you had sent out Corey Anderson, they'd say, well, this guy didn't have a crack of it. Let's just bowl wicket to wicket, and we'll get something from it. So I think that was brilliant by the coaching staff and the captain. We've had those sort of leadership group that had that sort of, and management group that had that sort of discussion. So brilliant from the US team.
Well,
And that's what it is when management has confidence in the players, and we spoke about it before, but when you have confidence in the players and you give them that free mindset, that free mentality just to go out and express themselves, this is what you're going to get, this sort of result.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if I may add also on that super over, guys. Mohammed Ami was picked to, bowl his the super over. I had no problem with that. It's when, of course, 18 runs were scored. 8 of those runs were extras. He kept on throwing that ball down the leg side to the left-hander.
Mhm.
And 18 runs in 1 over. And I think was the last one. During that over, I think Babar Azam got over emotional again. He kind of is it no?
He was.
No, in the 159, is it? Let me see. Just give me a little 2 seconds.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
while you
in
look at that,
159, the guy who hit the last shot for 4, was it? To tie
Nicholas
the match.
Pooran,
Yeah. Babar
Yeah.
became very emotional. When I think Harris Rowe, he 4 was hit off his last ball of the 20th over, and he got so emotional, Babar Azam. And I said, my gosh, I am not confident of this super over for Pakistan. I said
Yeah.
that. I said that.
Yeah, because it demoralized the entire unit.
Yes.
When you have
Yes.
something like that, and I think they could have done better, especially with the wicket keeper. I think Rizwan in that super over. I think he should have taken off one of his gloves and kept with one glove so that you could get put some pressure on these guys, because they ran off all of those wide deliveries and was successful. If you took off one of the gloves, that would put the pressure on them. So I think they got it all wrong as a
All wrong.
unit,
All wrong. All wrong.
Pakistan. And their body language, it lacked, and I made some notes. It said they lacked drive, energy, fighting spirit, and class. I think this Pakistan unit, you would not say that about Pakistan of old.
Yes, not the Pakistan of all. And during one of your shows with Tony Gray and myself, he spoke and mentioned about the inspirational leadership of Imran Khan back in the 80s. And Pakistan, I they've had other captains in the past, both in Test and red ball and white ball cricket. But I think Babar needs to just focus on his batting. There was a time when he was not captain, but I think they should make that change. Not only for, the World Cup has already started and he's captain, but maybe down the road he should more focus on his batting and let someone take over the leadership.
I hope you're not saying they should start that musical chair again.
No,
But go ahead, Lenny.
I was.
But we have seen that in the, sorry to interrupt. We have seen that in the West Indies with Brian Lara. Wasn't doing so great as a captain, and he stepped down, and then he was delivering the goods for the West Indies. So sometimes you got to take that big cap off your head and get yourself down there and get dirty with the boys and give someone else an opportunity so you can focus on playing your natural game, which is concentrate on batting and focus on your game plan. And because captaincy is not an easy job, and it's not everyone is mentally fit and mentally capable to deal with situations such as being a captain of a T20. T20 cricket is one of the most difficult cricket in the world to play, and it's not everyone have the capability to really mount that pressure and do well under pressure. So if he's not doing well, it's time for him to step down and give someone else the opportunity and focus on other aspect of the game.
Yeah, I thought the management got it wrong in giving him back the captaincy, because there are a few players in the world that wouldn't captain a curry goat cricket match for me, and it's because of those factors you just spoke about. We saw it. Quinton de Kock is one of those players. Ashim Amla, Brian Lara. Here we have Babar Azam. These players, they are brilliant players. These names I just called. But look at a Rovman Powell before captaincy and since he's captain. averages up there. He's always like that. These players are made for captains. It is not for everyone. A brilliant player don't make you a brilliant captain.
Not everyone.
Yeah, and this is where sometimes us as management look in the wrong direction. Say, for instance, a batsman is scoring 100, averages 80, 70. They think that, okay, they're getting runs, they're doing this, they're doing it makes them a captain. A captain doesn't necessarily mean that you have to bat or you have to bowl. You can just have great leadership quality. And if you look at Ravman Powell, he's doing absolutely everything. He's batting, he's bowling, he's feeling absolutely immaculate. And, you know, he's one of the better T20 captain I've seen in recent years. Very calm, composed, and collective as a captain. And he's delivering the goods for the West Indies.
Yeah. And don't think he have that sort of imposing personality. I was saying earlier today to our producer, Jermaine Lannerman, that I think that when you have a Pakistan, this is a country that these people are fierce people, fierce. And if you look at their more successful captains, if you look at they have that imposing personality, at Imran Khan and Misbah-ul-Haq and all of these guys, they're imposing. And they're not imposing in the sense that they're overly emotional. They're imposing that, look, I am the leader, look at me. I lead by my example. I am here, you are here, you are going to follow me into the darkness. And they will do it. And most of the time they follow them into the darkness to the light. But that's not happening here. So I think they got it wrong. And it's something that I hope they can get right. Because by no means, don't get it wrong though, they might not need any inspiration to beat India come Sunday. This is a rivalry. This is a derby.
Right.
So if they can get things right because they don't need that motivation and beat India, then we might be looking at a totally different thing, and the group might just open up once more. So
net run rate.
Yeah, and net run rate might come into play.
Yes.
So let's not write them off by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, we know how dangerous Pakistan can be, and they're one team that should never be written off. But the form and the shape that they're in, if they don't get their acts together and start playing as a unit and start getting, focusing and playing proper cricket, it could be do or die for them.
Yeah, I must ask though. Let's just look at Sunday. Going into Sunday, Pakistan. Do you see any changes for that Pakistan team going into Sunday? If they have to change anything?
Pakistan against
India.
Yes.
Azim Khan, sorry to interrupt, but definitely Azim Khan, he hasn't been coming well with the bat, so definitely he needs to probably sit out a game or two and give someone else an opportunity, but you never know.
Yeah, you're right. I think Azam Khan could make way for Saim Ayub, who
right.
and maybe
I played for the Guyanese Amazon Warrior.
Yeah, he was brilliant in the CPL.
Yes,
could make way for shift Babar's down to 3, where I think that's where I think he should be batting, because they are hell-bent on they are not putting Fakar as a man up front. So I guess they want him to be the enforcer in the middle. And then I think another thing that I think is a problem for them is the injury of Imad Wasim. If he was there, I think it would be a different setup, because I think it changes the balance of the team. And I don't think he'll be fit because of that side strain. So I think just that single change could make a lot of difference for that team, because the pitch will aid the fast bowlers anyway. So I wouldn't make any change in the bowling department.
Well, if you're going to be thinking about winning the World Cup and you're thinking about one or two players, it's just not going to happen for you. It has to be a gel of a team unit and a dynamic of team effort. It's not just about one player, two players. If you're going to win the World Cup, it has to be one clicking this week, one clicking next week. It has to be a team effort. If you look at West Indies, you look at back in the days, you look at where they had bats. Oh, yeah. Bats are dead.
All right. Yeah. So if we look at what a unit should be, Reza, Pakistan is not necessarily that, but I'm hoping they could get it right for Sunday, because they have that crucial game against India, and India is a formidable unit that will be coming roaring at them. If they lose, that might be curtains for them in the competition. last thoughts on that Pakistan game and how they look to match up against India.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's a rivalry that has never, I mean, to say, never erases from our memory every time they play. The passion from both countries and their fans is, I mean, is out of the world. Um, I was looking at, I mean, it's a must win. It has to be a must win for Pakistan.
Mhm.
Um, Shaheen Shah Afridi went for 33 runs today in 4 overs, and the other pacer, Naseem Shah, 4 overs for 26 runs. Harris Rowe, 4 overs for 37 runs. And with all respect to the American batting, I mean, India has a batting as powerful as anything else,
Mm. Yep.
and it has to be an A game. They would be under pressure, Pakistan. I mean, the home fans, I mean, in America, the home fans in Pakistan, and they just lost to, I mean, USA today. That's tremendous pressure. They, so they have to just put this behind their thoughts. I mean, this game, maybe it will be difficult to do so, and bring their A plus game against a powerful team like India.
Yep.
Surely, if they lose this game, I mean, the chances of them moving from, I mean, going forward in this group are very slim, I would think. Um, but it's what you call a mercurial team, Cavalli. I mean, one day in, one day out. But when they get the string right, tied up, that string, and you
Yeah.
open it, they are. I mean, almost. I mean, invincible team. I'm not saying it will. The string will come out all the time in one piece, but that is, of course, going to be one of the games of the World Cup, and
Yeah.
um, and surely, I mean, the whole of Pakistan is going to be watching them.
Yeah, and I would go to the limb. Just give you my predictions for the game before we just briefly look
Sure.
at West Indies.
Yeah.
I think they will come out roaring because they need no motivation to play well against India. Not to say they will win. That's not my prediction. I'm saying I expect a really good performance from India, from Pakistan, and it will
Mhm.
take something good from India if they are to defeat them. So they will come good. I think that pitch, and you put a Nazim Shah, uh, 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 Shaheen Shafridi, Harris Rolf, and that surface in New York. I think we'll be looking at some exciting bowling. Bumrah and Siraj from India. That's some exciting bowling. So I'm looking forward to that. Just a few minutes. Let's shift gears to that West Indies against Uganda game. Just quickly, what's your
Well, yeah,
predictions of that game?
well,
How you
Uganda
expect that
won
to
their
play out?
first game, I think, today or yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, we expect West Indies. I mean, they had a close game against Papua New Guinea, wasn't it? Close.
Yeah.
Going down there to the end, I think they were unable to adjust to the slower pitch, and Charles and Puran, and I think what's the other guy name? Charles Puran and King. They
Gave
didn't
away
really
their wicket.
adjust. Yeah. So I mean, Papua New Guinea has nothing to lose again. They. I mean, we expect West Indies to win, not easily again. No game is easy. No game
Yeah.
is easy. But Cavalli, the game I'm really tense about. I mean, I'm jumping the gun. Forgive me. Is the West Indies Afghanistan
Afghanistan.
game?
Yeah.
That is the game.
Yeah, and that is why it is so crucial that
Yeah,
they get the 2 points against Uganda and
that's
maybe
right. That's right.
even look to boost their run rate because they labored against Papua New Guinea. So I
Mhm.
think they'll be looking to get things right and have a dominant win against Uganda.
Yes, yes. Roston Chase showed his value maybe against Papua New Guinea. He had a good head on his head. He didn't panic. But you remember West Indies were 20 for 4 in
Yeah.
what before the power play, I believe. But but I mean, there's nothing about being. I mean, these associate teams, man, they're out to show their value and worth. They're not here to knock ball and go in the nets and practice. They're coming out to play.
Yeah.
And USA is I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, but that Afghanistan West Indies game. with all
Let,
the
let's not jump the gun too
Afghanistan,
much, though.
yeah, they're mixed of all this spin. But let me
Yeah.
go first with the, as I say,
Yeah,
with the
and something I'd say as you talk about the associate nation, Reza, is
Yeah.
that for me, I think the World Cup is a audition for a lot of these associate nations, because with all the franchise cricket being played around the world and money up for grabs in these franchise leagues, I think that these associate nations, the players, are looking at, let me put in a good performance, because all eyes are on the World Cup. Imagine Aaron Jones, even if not seeing IPL, he certainly will be picking up maybe a good contract in the
said,
CPL
well said.
and other leagues across the world, Pakistan League and Bangladesh League and all of these leagues. And imagine his contract will be boosted for the Major League Cricket, I assume. So it's a
Well
good
said. Well said.
audition for these players, and that is why I think these
Yeah.
associate nations are coming out hard at these full member nations, because they say, "Here, look, come look at me, come give me this contract."
Yes, it's open. What should and it would open opportunities for these associate nations. And Jones is certainly on the radar. He's already on the radar. He has two good knocks already,
Yeah,
and I'm sure there are others. Even I mean, in the lesser teams. I mean, I believe it's a good thing. For these lesser nations, in the sense of these associate, that their players will now be on the world stage. You know.
yeah. I saw a game. I don't want to say the wrong name. His name is Akib. I think his name is Akib. In I saw a game. I think I was watching it last night or the night before. Who played Australia last night? I looked
Is it
at
Oman? Oman?
Oman, their
Yeah,
captain.
Oman.
That guy bowled leg spin, off spin. This guy he took a blinder in the field and he batted number 3. He's their captain. Now, when you look at a player like that, he's saying, come look at me as well. So I'm just saying these players are looking to play well and put themselves in the shop window.
Good
Guys,
man.
I just before we close, I
Yeah.
can't go without asking about one more match. Just quickly. That also on Saturday, that Australia England game. No, this weekend looked like a weekend of two good derbies, because that Australia England game, England coming in on the back of that no result and so on, and not having the best sort of a lead up to the World Cup. Australia had to fight. Oman, who, well, I wouldn't say had to fight, because it was okay with a comfortable win in a sense, but they got a good little outing with Oman pushing. They're looking good. They're looking good as a unit. That game must be exciting in Barbados.
I give the edge to Australia. England defending champions, and the other group members, Namibia, Scotland, Oman. It's an easy group for Australia, England. Barring any kind of miraculous loss against the lesser teams. But I give Australia the edge. I think they have a very good bowling attack.
Yeah.
England has a strong batting attack. England has Wood and Archer. So, but I still give Australia the edge. I think it's going to be an exciting match. I don't think it's going to be a one-sided match, but
No.
I pick Australia to edge England in that particular match on Saturday.
All right.
Yeah.
We look forward to Saturday, to the weekend. I would say a super Saturday, super Sunday,
Yeah,
with those two games. Because I guess Saturday having Netherlands, South Africa is another exciting encounter, because Netherlands knocked South Africa, I think, out of the World Cup. I think it was the 50 over World Cup. Was it last year? And they've always had something for South Africa. So I guess South Africa will be sweating, and I think they'll be playing on a pitch that they might not be very comfortable with. So let's see how things will pan out, and let's look forward to the World Cup, the rest of the games as we go along. Reza,
Yes.
any last thoughts?
As you just said it, just to call it out, Saturday, Netherlands versus South Africa in New York.
Yeah.
Then we
Surface.
West Indies, Uganda in Guyana, and India, Australia, England in Barbados, as you said.
Barbados. Yeah.
All right,
and,
man.
And viewers, before we go, let me just add a little bit of information that came our way with the ICC saying they are looking to pull out all the stops to make the New York pitch that will be hosting that South Africa Netherlands game on Saturday and the India-Pakistan derby on Sunday a better pitch, because a lot of talks have been around the pitch and how dangerous potentially it is and how spicy it is. Let me put it that way. And the outfield is not the best. Not much can be done about the outfield, but they're looking to make the pitch better because it's not a good spectacle for the World Cup having 120, 130 games. So they want a little bit more contest between bat and ball. So the ICC and the curators are doing their utmost best to try and get that surface better, so it would be a better spectacle for you guys to watch. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Reza.
Yes, man. Thanks again.
Yes, and before we go, viewers, I just want to remind you to, if you have not yet subscribed, like, share, and subscribe. And also comment on the video. Comment on all of what's happening in the cricket. So thank you for joining us, and see you next time.
Best wishes, man.